to the United States of Tiffany. Our commentary offers a humorous take on wrestling. Please note, we're not bullying or attacking the wrestlers. We're engaging with the choreographed sport and its storylines. Our jokes and observations are about the characters and storylines, not the real people behind them. Tourists and citizens alike, welcome. Enjoy the show, and remember, it's all in good fun.
All right. We're going to make this episode, I'm going to make it simple, but we're going to be talking about Raw, NXT. We're going to be talking about Night of Champions, and I'm going to try to explain what's happening with WWE over in Saudi, because some of you seem to have some misinformation, and I don't like misinformation. I prefer to be informed rather than to have misinformation. So, and we're going to do an injury report because there are several WWE superstars who are currently injured at the moment. For those of you watching over on Down for the Count, hello, hi. I am 1/4 of your co-host of Down for the Count. I gave the rest of the ladies the night off, and you guys are going to be listening to me recap Monday Night Raw, NXT, go over the injury report for WWE, and give you guys the tidbits of Night of Champions and what's going down with some of the things that are happening behind the scenes and the drama that's unfolding due to the actions of the current U.S. president. Gerard, can you please turn it down? The current U.S. president, Donald Trump. Now, I did put the link in the comment section. So if people come in and join and talk, just know that the comments that they make are of their own free will and volition. They do not apply to me or to Down for the Count. And I want to make that very clear before we get started. Okay, so let's deep dive into Monday Night Raw. Since I didn't get the chance to do the show afterwards, I'm going to be honest, I didn't feel like it. So I just didn't. Well, we're going to talk about it. Let's cover Liv Morgan first. Liv Morgan's injury was re-shown, which I felt like they didn't have to do that, but they did, unfortunately. She basically dislocated her shoulder. It was a freak accident. It happens. And they basically said she's going to be out for a while. Again, I will go over her full injury report in the injury report. I just want to make sure I cover everything that happened during the show. We'll go back into how far she's going to be out of possibly. Does she require surgery? I will get into that later. All right. So they went back over Liv Morgan's injury for whatever reason. I can't explain to you why. I only know that that's what they did. So let's get into Monday Night Raw. The show kicked off with Seth Rollins. And look, I'm all for a good villain. I do. But Seth is getting on my nerves.
I came at the tail end of the promo.
It really, you didn't miss anything.
Oh, I know. That's why.
I mean, he came out there and essentially was just like, I'm the present, I'm the current, I'm the past, I'm the present, and this right here is the future. And he looked to Bronson reading him. And basically, he was like, we did what we had to with LA Knight because LA Knight got in our way. He got squashed with tsunami after tsunami after tsunami. Whatever. The one thing I will say is this. I always find that villains and heels, especially in WWE, have delusions of grandeur. And what baffles me is that you imply that LA Knight got in your way, when the reality is that's not what happened. Y'all attacked LA Knight, Penna, and everybody that was in the Money in the Bank ladder match. So who started it? It was you, Banks. If you had stayed out of LA Knight's way and y'all just fought in the match, I'm sure LA Knight would have left it at that. But because you attacked him and everybody else, excluding El Grande Americano, you attacked everybody before the match even began, before the match even got to the night of the match, you attacked. This is all on you. You created these enemies. You're the one who's created this retaliation. This is your fault. You can't blame anyone or get mad that people are in your way. The difference between the bloodline and this faction is that they didn't go out and intentionally start fires. Okay? That's not what happened. People rose up against Roman because they didn't like how he ruled. That's how that happened. You, on the other hand, are trying to get people before they get to you, which in turn is just going to create new enemies. I would imagine you would be smarter than that, but hey, I'm not the architect, you are. So live your best life. He goes on to say that he essentially is the end all be all because he has the Money in the Bank briefcase and that nobody has more power in WWE than he has right now. And because he was the one who knows how to wield it the most, he's going to wield this one the same and he's going to become champion and take over. He alluded to John Cena being the past and taking that championship and running away, which I would think you would be upset about. You know, I would think you would want that title to linger around, seeing as how that was the first major championship that you ever got in WWE on the main roster. I would imagine that that would have been something you would have wanted to keep around. You wouldn't want John Cena to just ruin wrestling, as he put it, seeing as how you said that you're the future. But I guess none of that matters. I guess. I don't know how you're going to be the future with no belt, but I guess you figure, like the rest of us, they'll just create a new one, which they will. So, whatever. Now, Braun Breaker had a match with Penna. Penna and Braun Breaker had their match. Everything seemed to be going fine. And then there was interference. Braun Breaker ended up winning on a technicality. Honestly, it wasn't. What do you want, Junior? Can you what? I don't have a fan. He won by spearing Penna out of the air in the middle of the match. The match was over. There was a lot of pinfalls and shit going down in this match, but ultimately, Braun Breaker won. I don't know what that meant for him, but I guess Seth is like, this is your last warning. You either stay out of my way or I'll take you out. And Penna just basically told him, no, I am not hearing that shit. So, in the back, we saw Chad Gable talking to one of his minions, the little pit bull back there. And basically, he was like, you should have did this, you should have did that, but you didn't. And you know what? You got opportunity. Stephanie is a problem. You need to take her out. Then he saw Penna walking up. And, of course, he had to rub the salt in the wound. So he took off his coat. He went over to Penna. And he told him, basically, you a loser. You lost. You got your ass whooped because you should have been minding your business. I'm only sad that I wasn't the one who gave you the ass whooping. So Penna was like, you know what? Fuck all this shit. He beat the brakes off of Chad Gable. And I don't know the name of the move, so I'm not even going to attempt it. And I'm sure someone in the comments will know what the name of the move is. So I'm just going to leave it as he did a move that he would normally do, where he's bending Chad Gable's arm backwards and just yanking it backwards. This caused Chad Gable to be injured, and Chad Gable is out. Chad Gable is also in the injury report, which I will clear up later in a minute. Okay? So, the conversation came up about Goldberg. Goldberg made it very clear to Michael Cole in a sit-down interview that this was inevitable. He said, I don't know why Gunther thought that he was somehow going to escape my wrath after he disrespected me in front of my wife and my kids in my hometown, super hometown of Atlanta. He was like, I don't know why he thought I wasn't going to come back and get him. He said, it makes no never mind to me whether he's champion or not. The ass whooping was coming. He said he's going to whip his ass. Cool, whatever. Now, Michael Cole finished that up by saying, Goldberg did make it very clear that this was his last match. This is his retirement match. And Michael Cole says, well, what if you win the championship? And Goldberg says, well, I guess we'll have to wait and see. All right.
I'm not with this shit. It's not happening.
I mean, what the fuck ever. Do whatever y'all want. At this point, I don't really care. Because you could have got some get back 6 months ago.
Literally.
You could have showed up at the Raw.
That bad blood.
Or you could have did it. I mean, I know you wanted to do it in Atlanta, but like, why? It doesn't have to be in Atlanta. You could have did it on the Raw that debuted on Netflix. That would have at least let Gunther be on TV, because Gunther didn't have nothing going. He was champion at the time and still was not on television. It's ridiculous. Like, you wasting my time. Like, it's unnecessary, and I have no words. Now, the tournament ended this week. All right. We had Roxanne Perez facing off against Jade Cargill, and the only smudge on my bracket for the women's is this match, because I just knew that Roxanne was going to beat Jade Cargill in this match, but she did not.
After what she said on Friday, I said, oh, it's going to be Jade versus Asuka.
It was a good promo, I ain't gonna lie. But I didn't expect her to win. I just did it. And that's no shade to her. I just didn't expect her to win. But she did. The match was okay. It wasn't a bad match. It had a little moment of a hiccup where she couldn't get Roxanne up for the second power bomb, but that wasn't because she botched or anything. It was just she simply couldn't get her wrapped up in time to get her up, so she pivoted and switched over to her I call it the glam slam, but whatever.
Jaded.
She switched over to Jaded, and that's how she was able to get the win. Now, Asuka had won her match Friday, so of course she came out there.
Match.
Yeah, it was a very good match. She came out there as Jade was staring at the crown, so these two are going to face off at Night of Champions. This is very interesting, because if Jade loses, which I suspect that she will, because Triple H loves Asuka beyond belief, and everything that every woman could do in WWE, they have given to Asuka on a silver platter. And it's not that she hasn't earned it or she doesn't deserve it, but to me, Jade hasn't earned the right to call herself Queen of the Ring yet, but Asuka damn sure has. So before we even get started, that's who I'm picking to win. It's Asuka. Doesn't mean Jade isn't good enough. It just means right now isn't the time for her to be Queen of the Ring. She still got some work to do. Any whoosies.
Asuka's my pick as well.
So we had the Intercontinental Championship match. Now, let me preface this by saying I really believe that Lyra is an idiot. There's something that irritates me about her, and I can't quite put my finger on it, but she's an idiot. And I'm not talking about her as a woman. I'm talking about her as a character.
She plays stupid.
And she does, and I know that she knows the game better than this. But Becky also knew that she was going up against Bayley. Once she saw Bayley and Lyra talking, she stormed off as if she figured out these two were scheming against her. Becky know damn well that they weren't scheming against her. What she did was created a narrative. So when she actually did what she did, the tables would turn. She's a master manipulator is the point I'm trying to make. She has shifted the conversation from her to now Lyra. And literally, she is turning Lyra into a villain. And Lyra doesn't even understand or recognize what's going on, which makes me believe that she's an idiot. Okay? Because you can't tell me that you came out there to help when you know she was in the middle of a match. Right. What did you think was going to happen?
Knowing you can't stand that bitch.
You knew she was in the middle of a match. You were well aware of this. You were out there talking about you came out there to support her, and you let your own anger cloud your judgment and cost Bayley her opportunity at a title that you really shouldn't have lost. Had you had gotten your shit together in that match, you probably could have beat Becky. But because you didn't allow for the cheating, you lost the damn match. Now here we are. You're mad because you lost and you had to raise this woman's hand. Personally, I wouldn't give a fuck. Let the bitch have the shit. She a paper champion anyway. Why are you crying about it? Then instead of you minding your fucking business when it comes to Bayley, you got an attitude with Bayley. Bayley wasn't the one who was on TV parading around with the op. That was you. That was you. You're mad at her because she didn't take your call. She doesn't have to.
You an idiot for that too.
She doesn't have to. She doesn't have to take your calls. Why should she? You got your ass kicked and you thought she was going to have your sister in arms because both of y'all got beat up by the same bitch. That ain't how this works. That ain't how this works. Y'all was supposed to be cool. When Bayley got injured, you were there. True enough. I'll give you that. You were there and you was like, I need to get a new partner because Pierce told you, hey, if you don't get a partner, I'm going to have to scrap the match and you basically forfeit. Then you was like, okay, I got somebody I can call. And you called Becky. Now, Becky could have, obviously, she knew that you were going to call her after you took out Bayley. Right now, Becky was in the back, obviously mad because you didn't call her from the beginning. But quite frankly, Becky was never factored into the situation, but she wanted a big old pop. She wanted the crowd to love on her and give her all the accolades in the world because she has miraculously returned from a leave of absence that she took on her own volition. It had nothing to do with us, and it had nothing to do with injury. She left on her own. She could have stayed. No one asked Becky to leave. But to hear her tell it, it was what the fans wanted. So I gave them what they wanted. Bullshit. I call bullshit on all of that. If that were the case, you would have stopped being champion around the time that you and Bianca were fighting. Because they were calling for you to sit your ass down then. And you would decide, no, I'm big time Bex. I'm going to stay. It had nothing to do with what the fans wanted. It was what you wanted. The fans had started to cheer for Liv Morgan, and rightfully so. They have to proceed and move forward into new territory. You can't be champion forever. Just like if it was John Cena and anybody else, they can't be champion forever. There has to be a new regime to come in. But you don't understand how to bow out gracefully, Ric Flair. You're still stuck here. And I need you to find your groove. If you're going to be here and continue to be here, blaming us for your bullshit is not going to work. I don't know what's wrong with you and John Cena, but y'all have an Oedipus complex, and I really need y'all to go see a therapist. Seek therapy. That's what it's for. Y'all make plenty of money. Y'all can have y'all therapists travel with y'all. You be talking to them every day. Besides coming out there having full-on monologues with everybody else. I don't want to know your thought process. I just want you to get your ass in there and wrestle, maybe talk a little shit, and then go home. That's all. As far as Lyra goes, they in the back before this match happens, and Lyra goes up to her and apologizes for what she said to her last week. Now, Bayley was as nice as she could have been, and Bayley, she was just like, oh, okay, sure. She was like, Lyra, I don't know what the fuck going on with you. I really don't. But she was like, I really need you to pull yourself together. Because she was like, listen, when I win, if I get the title, you'll be the first one to get the crack at it. But that's it. Now, Lyra said something shady. I can't remember what she said. It was something shady. And Bayley was just like, girl, you need to chill yourself out. Okay, go ahead and go sit down for a little while and chill out. And she was like, we are good. I told you we're good. Let it go. Lyra walked away. Now, for whatever reason, she came down there while Bayley was in the middle of her match. And this is where the problem came in, because Becky hit Lyra when she came out there. And of course, the ref didn't see it. Neither did Bayley. But Becky did it on purpose to incite Lyra so she would come in the match and cost Bayley the match. This would then cause Bayley and Lyra to be at each other's throats. But what Becky doesn't realize is just because you have two people who are fighting each other don't mean they don't hate you no less. So more than likely, heading into Evolution, it probably will turn into a triple threat for the Intercontinental Championship on the women's side, which, whatever. Whatever makes you happy. Because I'm just not interested. I'm really not. Now, Karrion, good old Karrion. They asked Sammy backstage how he felt about losing to the Viper. And of course, Karrion had to come and rub salt into the wound. He basically said that he told him so. Like, I told your ass that you was going to lose. I told you was going to get caught by the Viper, and you did. Now, what do you have to say for yourself? Like, because this little song and dance you're doing is not working, obviously. I've been telling you this for months, and you're not listening. And I just need you to do what you have to. So Sammy was like, you know what? You're right. And then he punched him dead in the shit. And he was like, I'm sick of talking to you, and I'm sick of hearing your mouth. You want to have a fight? We're going to fight. It's you and me, because I talked to Pierce, and it's going to be you and me. We're going to fight it out. And I don't want to ever hear from you again afterwards. Of course, him and Chicklet Teeth was back there cackling and giggling like this is all a part of the plan. I don't know where, unless Sammy does something drastic within the next couple of weeks that's shifting from his current character. This is all so you can get on TV to wrestle? If this is a long game, sir, your manipulation tactics are flawed. You might want to revisit the dark side and get some new tools if this is what we're saying you're capable of. Now, maybe I'm a little short-sighted. Somebody break it down to me in layman's terms so I can understand what the game plan is, because everybody's so excited about Karrion Kross and his manipulation tactics. I would imagine the manipulation would work on someone that would give him some type of leg up. And it's no shade to Sammy, but you have nothing to gain from beating up on Sammy or taking anything from Sammy. Now, if it changes Sammy in the end, sure, you can take credit for that if that's what makes you happy, but it doesn't put you any closer to being a fixture on television. However, I won't shade Karrion as if he hasn't already shifted the narrative when it comes to other superstars. He did it sort of with Chad Gable. He did it with New Day, which is why they're acting the way they're acting. And then now he's been working on Sammy, and he tried it with AJ Styles, but for whatever reason, he dropped that ball. I don't know. I'm not gonna say it's a terrible idea. I just need a little bit more context than what we're getting. I don't think I'm missing anything else.
Mm.
The only thing I think I'm missing is the backstage with and then the Rhea Ripley stuff. So
Yeah.
of course everybody's sad because Liv Morgan is out. And Raquel's walking around with both belts. Now, if you paid attention, when Roxanne and Finn came into the arena, Roxanne had one of them tag team titles on her suitcase, but it was behind it. It was clipped to the suitcase, laying behind it.
Yeah.
It was not on her person as if Roxanne was the champion, which leads me to believe that very soon, especially after the events of Monday, Roxanne is going to be taking Liv Morgan's place, which lends a lot of credibility to the downfall of the Judgment Day happening. Because when Liv Morgan returns, she's not going to be happy that Raquel just teamed up with her op like this, especially when she did the same thing that Roxanne did. And now here come Roxanne slowly but surely replacing her. Because if you remember, it's the irony of the comedy of errors is very interesting. Okay. The third iteration, or the second iteration, or third iteration of Judgment Day, Rhea Ripley gets injured by Liv Morgan. And all of a sudden, Liv Morgan starts moving in. She did this via Finn Balor. Finn Balor gave her the keys to the kingdom. And look what happens. Finn brings in Roxanne some years later, and Roxanne is trying to play nice. Hey, I'm not trying to do anything. I'm just your friend. She playing nice with everybody, including Dominic Mysterio, the easiest one to manipulate in the group, which is why Finn sicked her on Dom. But she's not doing it as blatant as Liv Morgan is. However, a snake can recognize a snake. Okay. Now, Roxanne is easing her way in and pretty much helping in everybody's good graces. Now, what they said backstage here was that next week, Judgment Day has a title match with the New Day. Okay. For whatever reason, Grayson Waller is hanging around New Day and leaving Austin Theory to the wayside. They ain't explained none of that shit. They just been letting it happen in backstage and ain't really told us shit. They ain't told us nothing. So I guess we'll find out when we find out. We just watching him hang around the New Day like a lost puppy. And I'm like, all right. I guess that's all we get then. Finn was trying to pep talk everybody and keep their, spirits up. Dominic is injured, which I will get to his injury report as well later on in the show. Dominic is injured, so his match with AJ Styles at Night of Champions was completely scrapped. It's removed. I don't even think Dom is going to Saudi now. Finn and JD have a match next week with the New Day, so they're trying to keep their spirits up for that. Roxanne Perez just lost her match to Jade Cargill, so she wasn't exactly in the best of spirits. But I think during this time they hadn't had the match yet. I'm not quite sure. But anyways, Raquel was the saddest, of course. And Finn said something. Finn said something and pissed Raquel off. And he was like, are you going to let Rhea Ripley get to you like that and take you out like that? You got to be the enforcer that I know you are. You got to be the baddest enforcer we got. And she was like, yeah, I'm going to take Rhea Ripley out. So she left. Finn sent Roxanne after her and was like, hey, why don't you go look out for her? Make sure everything's on the up and up. So Raquel goes down to the ring, calls out Rhea Ripley, and Rhea and her come down there. They fighting. As she getting ready to riptide Roxanne's ass again, Raquel again. Roxanne comes out there, chop blocks her in the knee, and she already set up the table. So I told y'all many times, whoever sets up the table usually is the one who goes through it. And she put that girl through a table. Roxanne got up, Raquel hugged her and said, "Come on, girl, we gonna go." And it seemed like they real chummy. Now backstage, Rhea Ripley was magically recovered from being put through a goddamn table. That's a rough bitch to be put through a table and then she up walking like she ain't just been put through plywood. She up walking around and she told Pierce, "I want Raquel Rodriguez." And Pierce said, "Okay, how about a street fight?" She was like, "Even better." He was like, "Then it's official." So the street fight was made, but it is not happening next week. That street fight is happening on Saturday at Night of Champions. Now, final match of the night was this one. It was the semifinals of the King of the Ring tournament. And Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes are great friends, brothers in arms, having to fight for their last slot to face off against Randy Orton in the finals. Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso at first seemed to be kind of testing each other out, but as that match progressed, the hunger to be able to call themselves a possible King of the Ring took over, and both men began to fight mercilessly in this match. Ultimately, the spoils or the victor went to none other than Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes beat Jey Uso, and now he is vying for the King of the Ring tournament against another brother in arms in Randy Orton. After the match was over, two men hugged it out and they basically, bigged up each other. And that was that. That was Monday Night Raw. It's pretty straightforward. There wasn't really a lot going on with Monday Night Raw. But as I said, it was pretty straightforward. Everybody did what they were supposed to do. And then we were heading into Saudi for Night of Champions. Now, we had a couple things happening over in NXT. We got a fatal four-way to determine who was the number one contender for JC Jane's Women's Championship at Evolution. We had a title match for the TNA Championship with Josh Briggs against Trick Williams. And then we had a Heritage Cup match with Tony D'Angelo facing off against Stax. The reason why that is because Noam Dar is once again injured and had to vacate the Heritage Cup Championship, Because of that vacate, Stax and Tony were slated to compete to become champions. And I'll explain how that happened, or rather, what happened.
There's a lot going on this week.
To put it simply, because I don't want to dwell on it too long, because they're getting on my nerves. I don't know what they're trying to do. It's okay. They're trying to tell a story. And I would be interested if they actually gave the story the depth that it deserves, right? Tony's obviously not going to trust anybody. And if you're just going by storyline, rightfully so, seeing as how just about everybody he's been around has either turned on him or somehow has made him believe they're not trustworthy. The only person in this story that hasn't shown back up yet is Rizzo. Tony doesn't trust Stax, obviously, which to me, clearly he's made it clear you can't trust him. Luca is too busy trying to prove he can be trustworthy and doing stuff that's not trustworthy. And it's just like, dude, if you got left in the desert, my initial reaction would be to attack Stax on site. You didn't do that, and you had the opportunity to. You chose to stand there as if you were in Stax's back pocket, and Stax likes toying with Tony. So here we are stuck in limbo of trying to figure out who's loyal to the D'Angelo family and who's loyal to Stax's family. I don't really give a shit. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't care about this Heritage Cup Championship either. Stacks beat Tony. Tony had to fight through all the Stacks minions. I don't know who the fuck these niggas are. I ain't never seen these niggas before. I generally don't know who anybody was out there. I only recognize Lucas, Stacks, and Tony. They were the only ones I recognized. I was just like, okay, cool. Stacks won. Luca came in there trying to tell him, like, hey, I got your back. We family, blah, blah, blah. And then Tony punched Luca in the face. And that nigga was like, I don't trust you. And I damn sure don't trust you, Stacks. And I was like, well, shit. I mean, so? So what if you don't like?
Okay.
We know that. Like,
what now?
We know you don't trust him. You shouldn't have trusted him at all, clearly. But I don't think you were really listening to why he turned on you. He said he felt like you was keeping him down, that your way wasn't working for him. And if I was you, I would remind him that his way don't work either. But for some odd reason, y'all niggas don't know how to tell a story. Now, I've been giving Shawn Michaels his props when it comes to certain things, but these last couple of months have been batshit bonkers in NXT, and I feel like I'm the only person who's been saying it. I feel like we are all over the place. Y'all gotta pick a lane. And y'all got so much going on with LFG and Evolve also coming into NXT. It is making things very convoluted, and I'm gonna tell y'all why. Yesterday, we had Ricky Saints going up against Ashanti the Adonis. For whatever reason, Ashanti thought he had Vanity Project and Ethan Page as his homeboys. As a black man, I don't even know why you thought that or why you even was a part of that. You don't fit the game. You don't fit the mold, sweetheart. And it's okay. But I don't know why you thought that you was a part of the group. You were not invited, nor did they ask you to raise your hand. Sit down, sir. Okay? Ricky Saints went up against Ashanti the Adonis. He lost. Ashanti lost to Ricky Saints. Ricky Saints won. Now, of course, Ricky attacked Ethan last week. Ethan got some lick back. So Ethan attacked Ricky this week. And of course, it took everybody to break them up and to break them apart. Now, Ava's backstage. Ava's mad. Ava's like, Ricky, what the fuck was that? Well, not Ricky, but Ethan. And he was like, I don't know what you're talking about. All I did was give a receipt. Technically, Ethan Page is correct because Ricky did attack him. But this all stems from Ethan Page basically crushing this man's larynx with a chair to take his championship from him. Okay. Now, Ava tells him, you're both the problem because both of y'all cannot contain yourselves and behave like you got some goddamn sense. Y'all acting like children. She right. But I would liken it to say that the problem more is on Ethan Page's side because when Ethan doesn't get what he wants, he lashes out like a child. And 90% of the time, the problems that are happening around Ethan Page are created by him. They're not problems that came because he's champion. They're problems because he either stole a championship or because he's been nagging and egging on the person that he's going up against. So I would say the problem isn't necessarily Ricky Saints. The problem is you have an arrogant, pompous windbag in Ethan Page running around NXT who seems to think that he can do whatever he wants without consequence. And you let him believe that because you don't make him pay for anything that he's done. If he is allowed to injure people without consequence, he's usually rewarded when he does it, which is very strange. It's odd. He injured Javon Evans and he was rewarded with matches, television time, and a possible championship match as well. And he injured Ricky Saints and he was rewarded with the title and has been walking around ever since and bolstering Vanity Project, which is they're not bad wrestlers at all. In fact, they are excellent wrestlers, but they are the epitome of what I hate about white men in its entirety, and they rubbed me the wrong way. So I don't like them, and I don't think I ever will.
Who?
And I really think that some of them need to bulk up as well because they look like children in the ring. And I don't know about you, but I'm not okay with watching half-naked boys in the ring wrestle. That's just not something that I like. You do with that what you will.
Me either.
So,
not Kurt Angle.
like, just, I don't need you to bulk up so that you can't move or anything. I just need you to, if you're going to be a man, I need you to look like one. And I hate to say that, but that's just the facts.
Put some weight on, skinny bitch.
So, Ava basically said to Ethan that she's going to have a meeting with him and Ricky Saints in her office next week, and they're both going to show up and keep their hands off of each other. And Ethan Page decided that he's going to call in some reinforcements because he needed Vanity Project. Now, Vanity Project is made up of the current men's Evolve champion, which I don't know his fucking name, and the other two Vanity losers that are with them. Okay. They make up Vanity Project. I believe that's what their name is. And they're annoying, and I don't like them. So there's that. Okay. Trick Williams had a match with Josh Briggs. They went at it. Look, moral of the story, Trick Williams retained his championship. If you thought Trick Williams was going to lose his title to Josh, you're crazy. Okay. The stakes at Slammiversary for TNA is what is going to happen, which I told y'all that Trick Williams was going to defend that championship at Slammiversary, and more than likely, he will drop that title back to none other than Joe Hendry at Slammiversary. Okay. He's been running around with the championship long enough. Okay. And of course, he's going to have reinforcements because he has aligned himself with none other than First Class. All right. But this week, Joe Hendry made his intentions known and attacked Trick Williams after his match and made it very clear that he was vying for that title and that there was nowhere he could hide, that he would show up everywhere he could to make sure Trick Williams knew that his days as champion are numbered. Now, he was backstage and very upset, that he got attacked. And essentially, he's talking to Wes Lee because if you know, Wes Lee has been a fixture in both companies, both TNA and currently now with WWE and NXT. I don't know why he's still down in NXT. Maybe it's for Tyson and Tyreek, but quite frankly, they could have been brought up Wes Lee. But yeah, that's just me. Okay. Now, Obafemi came out and was talking, and he laid out a challenge to Inamura. And Inamura made it very clear that he was going to give Obafemi the fight of his life. He walked away, and everything seemed cool. And that's when Jasper's ass came out there and decimated Inamura. And on some Braun Strowman shit, then they walked up there and climbed on the ring apron and said, "I'm not finished with you." Now, earlier in the night, there was a match between Javon Evans and Tavion Heights. The stipulations were simple. Tavion beat Javon Evans. Tavion was out of NQCC. And of course, Javon Evans was like, "Yo, you my man, 20 grand, but I'm not gonna give you no W. You're gonna have to beat me." And Tavion was like, "Say less, I'm gonna win anyway." And Javon like, "All right, bet." So the boys had their fight. Javon Evans was able to win. That meant that Tavion had to stay in NQCC, and of course, Charlie was ecstatic, clapping and cheesing and having a good time. I don't know why you have to ask to leave. I assumed y'all was grown, and you can kind of make your own decisions. I don't understand why everybody has to make decisions, for you or with you. I was confused. I was confused. I didn't understand. But sure, go off. Whatever makes you happy. Now, the women's fatal four-way was an interesting match. Prior to the match, Izzy has been working Tatum down because Tatum feels bad because she's lost all her friends and she's lonely. And Izzy is preying on her loneliness and making her feel like she wants her around and she wants her to be a part of her group. Of course, she wants her to join the culling. She doesn't want to be the only one in the group. I can put the stuff away. So it seems like Zarya and of course Soul is trying to be nice and trying to tell Tatum like, hey, chin up. You do have friends here. We may not be the other girls, but we are here if you need us. And Zarya was trying to be nice, but of course Izzy is a manipulator, and Izzy is coming in and preying on the girl's vulnerability. This is causing some discord between her and, of course, Zarya and Soul. Zarya is very blunt. I mean, Zarya was like, Soul, leave that bitch alone. If she want to believe whatever bullshit Izzy Dame is selling, then let her. We tried. Oh, well. And Izzy was like, well, I don't have a problem with you being in my corner. And she came to ask the Tatum to be in her corner. And she was like, I don't know why Zarya seems to be so upset. Could it be like you lost last week? And unfortunately for you, this is the closest you're going to get to a title is just by hanging out with the person who has one. And I was like, now, see, you got a lot of motherfucking nerve. Okay. Because your ass used to be hanging on Kiana James's first set of titties. And there wasn't much there to begin with. So, Zarya better than me. It's the best way I could explain it. Because I'd have been like, ain't you been jumping from like person to person, group to group? You out here being a ho-ho and you mad at me? What? Your homeboys couldn't even get the job done to be able to be champion, and you're worried about what's going on over here. You all in my business. Don't you got a group to get together? Don't you have a beady-eyed master to please? Don't you got some groveling to do? Some begging? Some pleading? Please get the fuck out of my face. Please. Go on somewhere. Now, she came out there with Tatum, and all four women was in the ring. Jada Parker, Jordan Grace, Izzy Dame, and Lash. It was a decent match between all of them. But ultimately, Jordan Grace was the one who won. She is the number one contender. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to say it loud. Jada Parker's ass shouldn't have been in the match to begin with. Yeah. Out of all four of these women, she has had the most opportunities at this particular championship out of everybody, and that includes Jordan Grace. She has had multiple opportunities at championships with over a span of 2 different champions, Roxanne Perez and Stephanie, and she has not been able to capitalize in any capacity. Her ass don't need to be in no title contingency anytime soon. Nowhere near it. And I'm tired of her. I'm just sick of her. The girl always angry. She ain't never got nothing to be happy about. For somebody who getting so many opportunities, so many title shots, you are always mad, ma'am. You are always in your feelings. Why? For what? What are you angry about? Oh.
Everything.
Girl. Pull it together, please. Now, let's get to the injuries. Okay. Hold on. All right. Let's start with Liv Morgan. Hello to everybody in the comments. Hello. Liv Morgan is injured and her dislocated shoulder is requiring surgery. They say that her injury is going to be for several months, which several bare minimum can be 2 to 3 months. The max time could be 9 months, which is closer to the first time that she got injured. That's including, I guess, rehab and healing. So Liv could be out for quite some time. All right. She is going to miss SummerSlam, Evolution, everything in between, and more than likely, if her injury is not as bad as they thought with the surgery and the repair, she could be back, but in time for Royal Rumble. But I do not think that she will be. I don't think Liv is going to pop back up until after probably Elimination Chamber. At least that's when I would have her come back, when she's like fully healed. I wouldn't want her to get into an Elimination Chamber after doing all this to heal herself. I just wouldn't be okay with that. You still have Rey Mysterio, who is injured. He had a torn groin injury that happened before Mania last year. He was still rehabbing from that. That doesn't mean that he isn't going to be back anytime soon, but he is out. Actually, he had a knee injury. I apologize. It wasn't a torn groin injury. The torn groin injury is Chad Gable's and El Grande Americanos. He tore his injury. He had a torn groin. I can't say it together. And it seems that his injury is even worse. It's getting worse, and he is going to be out for quite some time. Dominic Mysterio is also injured. I haven't heard what his injury is exactly, but Dominic Mysterio is injured and he is not cleared to perform. He will not be facing off against AJ Styles at Night of Champions. This match has been pushed and been postponed to later days. Not quite sure when he's actually going to compete against AJ Styles, but the match isn't over. It's just been pushed back. So we have Liv Morgan, we've got Chad Gable, we have Dominic Mysterio. Who else is injured? Drew McIntyre. Okay, so Drew McIntyre's injury is also legit, which is why he didn't come back after his match with Damian Priest. He has no current storylines ready for him to go at the moment. There's no creative, so Drew is off TV rehabbing, but he also is not scheduled to be back on TV anytime soon. So Drew's out, and he's probably going to be out probably until around the time they start booking for Royal Rumble is when Drew McIntyre would probably pop back up. As far as Kevin Owens' injury, there is an update on Kevin Owens' injury. Kevin Owens is going to have the neck fusion surgery sometime in mid-July. There was a post that came from him and Wheatley Vodka and Cody Rhodes. And essentially, he explained that during this time, he's been fine. He didn't really have any symptoms of the neck injury he sustained. He said the injury happened in January, but of course, it was made worse by the ladder match that he had with Cody Rhodes. He didn't experience any numbness or tingling or pain or any of that until after he got a text message from Cody last week asking him what was the prognosis, where are we, when are we going to proceed forward, what are we doing? Essentially, he was wondering what's going on with his friend and what he needed to do to help or what he could do to help. Kevin left him on red because he knew they were going to have this interview and he wanted to answer that question on camera so he didn't have to say it like multiple times, which is pretty ingenious. But he did. Kevin essentially explained that they're going to have the surgery in mid-July. The reason why is because they wanted to see if he could heal his neck some, and that would lead the surgery to not be so invasive. They would be able to do what was necessary and not necessarily do what they had to do, if that makes sense. All of the healing comes from Kevin, so they don't have to worry about fighting, to do all the surgery repairs through surgery. The repairs and healing came from Kevin itself. But he says after he got the text message from Cody, he began to exhibit all of the symptoms that he said he didn't have. All these symptoms, hold on, Jeff, before you go in the bathroom. Hold on a second. The numbness in the fingers, the numbness in the legs. He said he began to experience all of that. And he said he can't wait to have the surgery and have some sense of normalcy. And he said he doesn't know what he'll be when he gets done with the surgery and heals. All he knows is he just wants to have his life back, essentially. And then he'll go from there. So that's your injury report. I'm going to take a quick 5-minute break and I'll be right back. All right.
Still don't know my words, still stressing perfection. Let you all in my mental, got me looking too desperate. Damn, you ain't designed.
Baby, I'm talking crazy.
Okay. So let me clear something up. It was Rey Mysterio who had the torn groin. They have not announced, or at least for now, I don't know the details of Chad Gable's injury. They haven't explained that. But the man is injured, unfortunately. He and El Grande Americano will both be out, coincidentally. Maybe that's how they announced it, okay? They said it was a coincidence that they'll both be out. Okay, Sugar Booger.
Sure.
I'm sure the Gulf of America is going to love having you back home. Anyway, let's talk about Night of Champions, because some of y'all seem to be very confused. Or some of y'all get angry about things. And
Go.
I need y'all to use your brains, critical thinking. Now, a report came out that there are some WWE staff, production staff more specifically, that was stuck in Qatar. The reason why that is because of the missiles being shot across in the airspace to Israel and, of course, to Iran. Iran and Israel are in a fight, and the U.S. decided, let's bomb Iran's nuclear sites. Let's just get involved. There's some shit that had nothing to do with us. Nothing. Okay? Since this page is not about politics, we're going to stick to WWE exclusively. Some of y'all, I need y'all to think, okay? The fear-mongering on the internet makes it very difficult for real information to come out. Now, I'm going to say something, and some of you are probably going to be like, how could you say that? But I need you to be understanding of what I'm saying and not necessarily listen to the harshness of what I'm saying. Okay? It would serve Iran no purpose to bomb the Saudi Arabians and kill 100+ Americans. That would give them nothing in this fight. Do you hear what I'm saying? They would essentially be including another country in a war that had nothing to do with them. Not only that, but sever any foreign relations that they had planned for the future or currently. So I do not believe that Iran would do anything to harm or to take out innocent Americans, because there are no politicians in the WWE working this event for Night of Champions. Okay? Now, I wouldn't have been over there in the first place, seeing as how our government has involved themselves in it, but there's really nothing that I or you or any of us can do about it. It is what it is. The superstars that have to go over there are being careful. From what I understand, they are obviously worried, but they are going to do their jobs and go home. There is a charter flight that is being chartered for today, obviously, to take them over to Saudi, and that same flight will bring them home. They do not have any incentives to go to Saudi anymore because all of that is put into their contracts, and it's a clause, essentially. Because this Saudi deal seems to be something that's going to be continuing in the near future, that clause has been baked into their contracts, which means it's kind of like when they have television, they're on TV, and when they're not. When they're on TV, they get an incentive for being on TV. They get extra money for being on TV on top of their base salary. This is the same deal that happens when they go to Saudi. They will be compensated to go to Saudi under the similar guise of them doing a regular PLE or going, and being on television. That's the way that these contracts are set up. Okay. So they don't get an extra $100,000 for going over to Saudi anymore. That is no longer the case. They get paid by their contracts and what their contracts say they are obligated to be paid. All of that is negotiated through WWE managers, lawyers, and whatever. Okay. But again, I can't stress this enough. It would serve Iran no purpose to bomb this event when 90% of the people that are in this event are Saudi Arabians? You may not like the fact that they're over there, but it is what it is. Okay. I find it strange that now people seem to have an issue with WWE going over to Saudi when there were no content creators talking about WWE going to Saudi when they first started the deal. And that time, the Crown Prince and the Saudi Arabians had killed an American journalist. And they knew he killed them. They knew it. And they were like, we're going to do this deal anyway. Because, I mean, a devil recognizes a devil, you know? It's a hot topic because of the situation going on in the United States. So content creators who usually do political commentary are going to jump into the conversation and begin to poo-poo on WWE for going over to Saudi. But they've been going over there for almost 10 years, babe. You're beating a dead horse. It is what it is. They got stuck the first time they went over there. Still went back.
Okay.
Still went back. So now let's talk about the people who got stuck in Qatar. Okay. They got stuck in Qatar because they had shut down the airspace, which means no planes were flying in or flying out in this particular area. So WWE Production had to figure out a way to get to Riyadh. Now, I went to Google and said, okay, let's look at how far Qatar is from Riyadh. You know, going to Riyadh from Qatar is a 5-hour drive. Okay. 5 hours. It's like going from here to Dayton here in Cleveland. Okay. It's not a long ride, but it's about a half a day's drive, obviously.
Jesus.
Okay. It'd be kind of like driving from Cleveland to Chicago, give or take a few hours. So I assume that if they shut down the airspace, that they flew, that they just drove because they couldn't fly. That's what I thought. Well, I'm thinking this happened. I don't know if they have reopened that airspace, but I did look at Fightful Select and their free articles, and they did say that some of the superstars are going to get on the charter flight and go over there because SmackDown is supposed to emanate from Riyadh this Friday, and they're supposed to be leaving between yesterday and today, and this is going to be a charter flight, which just means that only people are going to be on there are the people who are supposed to go over there, and it's a smaller plane. It's not going to be a big, huge ass commercial plane. So they're going to be on there for their people, and then they're going to fly in, do their jobs, and then bring their asses home, which love that for them. As far as they know, plans are going on as usual. They're not changing anything. They have no desire to change anything, and they're just going to keep their eyes on everything. They need to get out, they're going to get out. Simple as that. But y'all can't, and I really want y'all to, if you are a content creator and you're making content, you need to be very careful about the things that you say, okay, and how you frame it. Because when you are not privy to what's going on and you start talking a lot of shit, it can make you look like an idiot in the end. And while I understand, this kind of stuff drives traffic and you want to have the content, I'm okay with you getting your content, get your bag, but not at the extent of fear mongering for everybody else. I'm not okay with that. So pull it together is all I'm going to tell you. Since we're talking about Night of Champions, as we know it, Night of Champions is set to emanate from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia on Saturday, June 28th. This is a Saudi show, which means it will start at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay? Now, currently, The current matches for the card are as follows. Don, whenever you want to pop in, you can give your predictions if you want to. Okay? All right. We're going to start with the main event. John Cena is facing off against CM Punk. I think this is the 15th time that these two have battled each other. The last time we saw John Cena, he was given his infamous pipe bomb, which ain't gonna lie, it's pretty goddamn good. It's a pretty good pipe bomb. So good that Matt Cardona was wrestling and he did his own little pipe bomb. He was like, "Hi, John Cena." Right in the corner of the ring, same position on the turnbuckle, everything. Ain't gonna lie, it's pretty damn good. Do I think that CM Punk is gonna beat John Cena at Night of Champions? No. No, I do not. Do I think John Cena is gonna cheat to win? Probably.
Yeah.
He probably will. So I'm going to give my win to John Cena. Donnie, who you picking?
John.
Yeah. Although I would love a good swerve. And if Triple H was any half a brain would let him beat him again. And then y'all could run it back at SummerSlam. I would love that. That's just me though. But I don't see that happening. This match was scheduled to happen, but it is not. They have removed it. It's supposed to happen later on down the line. But unfortunately, Dom is not going to be defending his title at Night of Champions. However, Solo is going to be competing against Jacob Fatu for his championship. So, Donnie, who you got?
Jacob.
I am going to pick Solo. I think Solo's going to steal it.
Probably so. He got Kronk in the corner.
Yeah, no Nick Mateo, but I also think they're going to bring in Hikuleo in here. It's going to be a whole And then you going with Jacob too, huh? I don't know. Something stinks. And I don't think he's gonna beat him.
Something stinking. It ain't the cigarettes.
I think Solo's gonna cheat, and I think he's gonna steal this title from Jacob.
Possibly so.
This match was added to the card as of Monday. This is a non-title bout. A lot of people are complaining that there are some non-title matches on this Night of Champions card. They wanted Tiffany Stratton to defend her title against Nia Jax at Night of Champions, which...
Yeah, I thought that was kind of weird.
Quite frankly, I don't care. I'm going to be honest. I generally... Tiffany has gone up against Nia before, so I have no desire to watch that match unless Naomi's going to cash in. But all of that's going to be in Riyadh, which it does make sense. Like, you feel if they were in the States doing their championship matches, then I would complain and be like, well, they could just send them to Riyadh. They're doing these matches, these championship matches on Friday, and they're all going to be in Riyadh when they could have just had them on the card to begin with. But whatever makes you happy, it's your business. Anyways, Rhea Ripley is facing off against Raquel Rodriguez, aka Cobra Beck.
Spanish Rachel.
This is gonna be a street fight. A street fight means legal interference. So who y'all got to win? Donnie?
Spanish Rachel.
Mm-hmm. Due to interference from none other than Roxanne Perez. I mean, she got to solidify that tag team, I got to keep that tag team tight.
Mm-hmm.
I think Rhea may have a hard time. I don't think she's gonna have a hard time. I think they're just gonna double team her and she's gonna lose. That's what I think's gonna happen. Even though she got put through a table on Monday, she could pull out the win and win, but
All right, I want to go to the comments.
let me see. R&R 2.0 just might win this. You going to the comments? Don's going to the comments. Okay. We got the next match. Queen of the Ring tournament. You have the new upstart in Jade Cargill, and you've got the Empress of Tomorrow, one of the most decorated superstars in WWE history, in Asuka. I'm gonna go Asuka. I think Asuka's gonna take the W here. I expect nothing less. The Empress of Tomorrow winning and then going on to challenge Io Sky at SummerSlam is classic. Instant classic money right there. Y'all let me know who y'all picking. Are you going with Jade Cargill, the noob? Or are you going with Asuka, the vet? Let me know. Let me know. Sorry. Asuka being Empress of the Ring is my dream. Well, looks like your dream is about to be a reality. Nobody else? No pickies? That's wild. Oh, shit. Oh, Marquis sent me a text message. You're watching. Hello. Marquis is picking Asuka. He texted me to tell me. It's funny. Thank you. Oh, God, that's hilarious. Okay. She said, Aaliyah said, brackets always make me feel like Doctor Strange in Infinity War. Oh, wow. Oh, you're going with Jade. That's an interesting pick. Ha! See, I'm not the only one who thinks this. We're going to get to this in a minute, but oh my God, this is why I love Kevin Owens. He will always be goated. Always, always, always. We're going to finish out these predictions though. All right. So we have Randall versus Cody. Former mentor versus mentee. The teacher is finally facing this student. This is going to be very interesting. Very interesting indeed. You see, both of these men are SmackDown wrestlers and they are vying for the champion, for the crown of King of the Ring, to then go on and challenge the man known as John Cena for the championship at SummerSlam. Now, it could go either way as we know it. You know what I'm saying? John could be facing off against his former adversary in Randy Orton once again, or he could be facing off against his Mania opponent once again in Cody Rhodes. I'm going to go with the latter and say that Randy is going to win King of the Ring, and it's going to be John Cena versus Randy Orton once again at SummerSlam, because I just don't think that Cody is going to win King of the Ring this year. I know. Shock it all. I have to. It's an IDK Cody. I don't think Cody's winning, man. It's hard because Jade has only lost like 3 singles matches. I'm telling y'all, this gonna be her fourth. Hey, Nika. I wouldn't be mad at either choice. I really think it's gonna be Randall. I really do. I think it's going to be Randall. Randy is visually my pick in all tournaments because this could push Cody closer to Homelander. Honestly, I don't think this is the straw that breaks the camel's back for Cody. I don't think that's coming yet. He did say that he's running at the end of his face run. It's coming, but I don't think it's coming just yet. I think it's going to be a total shock when he turns a heel. I'm fine with whoever wins. I think it's going to be Randy, though. I think it's going to be Randall. Our Kingo would eat on merch. Yeah, it would. Cody is probably going to lose this match. I think he's going to lose too, Hiram. I really do. Okay. Let me see. Marjorie's here. I thought he was finna turn on Jay. That's what I thought. It was too much going on. Anyways. So my pick is going to be Randy Orton for Night of Champions. And we got one more match. Sammy is going to Riyadh, but he's going to face off against everybody's favorite master manipulator in Karrion Kross. Karrion has egged and pushed and goaded his opponent into a match at Saudi Arabia. And of course, the Saudis love Sami Zayn. So I don't know how this is going to go, but I would love for Sammy to get the W. As far as I know, he's undefeated in Saudi, in the Saudi shows. So I would love for him to get the W and actually win. But yeah, no. If they're trying to give Karrion a nice little push, that may not happen. Cody versus Jay was like watching the high school sweethearts break up before they go to different colleges. Aw. It's funny. It's hilarious. Anywhoosies. Sure. That is Night of Champions, ladies and gentlemen. There we have it. We are heading into the next PLEs, which is Evolution and Saturday Night Main Event. This all happens on the same weekend as AEW's All in Texas, which is also going to have Mercedes Moné facing off against none other than the titular Toni Storm. Okay, you're going to have a lot going on there. There's a lot going on. Let me show you guys something that Kevin Owens was talking about when it comes to Tanner and the wrestlers. Okay, let me show y'all. Because some of y'all think I be being mean, and I'm not. It says, and I quote, Kevin Owens is not a fan of wrestlers using fake tans in the ring. He said, Braun Breaker should be arrested. None of it's good. You aren't born that color. I understand if you want to be a little darker, but come on. And I agree. Braun Breaker looks like he was burnt. I'm just sick of that man and his bullshit. You know you ain't golden crispy like that. Stop it. It's borderline racist. You look a mess. Anyways, we got a lot going on, and we're going to do our best to keep ourselves together. Yes. She said, preach it louder to the people in the back. The Cheeto Puff needs to be stopped. Orange Hands must be stopped. Because ain't no way he almost darker than me. Between him and Mandy Rose, they was competing for darkest white person. Which is wild as hell to me. Anywhoosies. In a few weeks, we'll be heading into the week or the month for Evolution Saturday Night Main Event. So, Saudi is this week, and next week will be the beginning of the month of July. Next Tuesday is the month of July when it starts. 1, 2, which means we'll have 2 weeks. We are 2 weeks out from Evolution and Saturday Night Main Event, which means the matches are getting ready to start being booked for Saturday Night Main Event. We already have one. Okay. We already have one with Goldberg facing off against Gunther at Saturday Night Main Event. And we already have one with Jordan Grace facing off against JC Jane at Evolution. So there has to be some new bookings coming into down the pike, especially for Evolution with the women. Now, I suspect that if Tiffany Stratton doesn't drop her title to Nia Jax on Friday, she more than likely will have to defend it against a number one contender on Saturday at Evolution or Sunday at Evolution. I would have all the women's belts defended at Evolution personally. It looks like eventually they'll have a triple threat for the Intercontinental Championship at Evolution, and the women's U.S. title is probably going to be defended Saturday. It's going to be defended Friday with Zelina going up against Julia, but she might get another rematch or title shot at Evolution against Zelina if she beats her Friday. There are so many titles being defended on Friday. It's nuts. Okay. Nah, he's from the Caucasus Mountains. He should look like it. Well, fair enough. Yeah, but Mandy was using tanning beds back, which is insane. Her skin, not mine. She the one looking like a burnt chicken leg. But anyway. A whole bunch of matches can be selected going into Evolution, but it looks like a couple of them are already said and done. I don't know if I would have the women's titles defended at Evolution. I would have Io defended against something one-off, like maybe have her going up against Rhea Ripley to finality in their feud and be done with it. I don't know what else we could include, but I mean, I would make it so that since right now there's no definitive winner for Tiffany Stratton going into SummerSlam, it would either start a tournament at Evolution and then end it just like 2 weeks before, like a week or so before SummerSlam. To find her opponent if she's still champion by then. Damn. I don't know, but I would have something set up, battle royal, tournament, something where they could compete and they would be determined the number one contender for Tiffany Stratton. Would you include Evolve title into Evolution, or is that too many titles? No. I'm sure they would, but I wouldn't. Would it bring more eyes to Evolve over in Tubi? Sure. So is it smart? Yes, but if I were booking it, no. I would make the Evolve title I would have them compete at NXT's Great American Bash, but I wouldn't put them at Evolution. I don't know. I'm curious as to how they're going to book this because they haven't been planning anything else. And again, these shows are 2 weeks apart. They're not that far apart. So it's going to be very, very interesting. Afterwards, we have SummerSlam, which is going to be on the 2nd and 3rd of August, which is about a month between, a little less than a month. No, it's about a month. You got about 4 full weeks until the 2nd makes it a full week. So it's about a month for Evolution and SummerSlam, give or take a few days. So I would start booking for Evolution at the Saudi show if I could. I say have a battle royal on Evolution to determine the number one contender for any of the main titles. Well, any would imply that all of those titles would be in play, and they aren't. Currently, right now, if Asuka wins, she is going to be the one to challenge Io Sky, which I believe Asuka is going to win, and she is going to be the one to challenge Io Sky at SummerSlam. So that title is not going to be able to be considered eligible for that style of match. The only championship that currently doesn't have a challenger, a solidified challenger, is the women's championship with Tiffany Stratton. She's the only one who doesn't really have a true challenger. She's facing off against Nia Jax on Friday, which I suspect she more than likely will beat her. If Naomi doesn't cash in on her, which do whatever. It's a last woman standing match for them, so whatever makes them happy. But the way this is framed or how you put it in the box, to me, it doesn't make sense to make it be for any of the main titles. I wouldn't do that. But SummerSlam is on the 2nd and 3rd of August, and they're going to be in New Jersey at MetLife Stadium. Then we're going to go all the way to the 31st of August, which is at the end of the month. And that is when they'll be in Paris at Clash in Paris. And they will also have Monday Night Raw happening in Paris as well. So after the 2nd and 3rd, they will then go a month in between and head to Paris. It's going to be a month before they head to Paris. That Saturday, they'll probably leave. And the 31st of August is a Sunday. So they will have Clash in Paris on a Sunday. Don't know who's scheduled to be on that match, but it is happening. Then in September, on the 1st, which is a Monday, they'll have Monday Night Raw, still in Paris, having a good old time, hollering and screaming and hooping and hollering. And then we have TakeOver Perth. This is all happening in October. So after August, the month of September is completely blank for now. I suspect that a Saturday night main event is going to be popping up in here between the 13th and the 20th. Either way, they're going to be in Perth, Australia for Crown Jewel, the weekend of the 10th, which is the second week of October. They're going to be from the 10th to the 13th, which is a Monday. And that entire weekend, they're going to be in Australia. Friday Night SmackDown, Monday Night Raw, and then the event Crown Jewel will happen on the 11th. All of that is emanating from Australia for that entire weekend. And that is what they have booked for now in terms of PLEs leading up to October. Of course, in November, they usually go back to Saudi Arabia. But I suspect if they're going to Saudi for Royal Rumble next year, then they probably won't go back to Saudi again. I'm not sure. But they also have Survivor Series. And then in the month of December, they start to wind down. But they are going to have one last Saturday night main event. This will be John Cena's final match and his complete farewell to the WWE Universe. And I'm sure it's going to be a very emotional night for a lot of people. So we shall see. That is it. That is all when it comes to wrestling. If you guys are interested in TNA, Slammiversary is happening on the 20th of July. I believe, let me look. The 20th of July is when Slammiversary happens, I think. Let me make sure I pull it up. Yep. Slammiversary is July 20th, and that is when you'll see Joe Hendry face off against Trick Williams. Okay, they're all going to compete and have a wonderful time. Okay.
The tickets are cheap for Slammiversary.
What'd you say?
The tickets are cheap for Slammiversary.
The tickets are cheap? What?
Yeah, like the front row is like $700.
Oh my God. That's Dania. Shit. Y'all need to go. If you can go, you should go. Where are they going to be at for Slammiversary?
They're going to be in Long Island. They're going to be at the UBS Arena.
Oh. If y'all could go, y'all should go.
I do want to go. I want to go see the Rascals.
You love him some Rascals, child.
Yes.
Trey Miguel, more specifically.
Yes.
So they haven't really started booking the card for Slammiversary, but they have gotten Trick Williams and Joe Hendry's match on the card. So that is up. I'm sure everybody's match is going to be booked. The Nemesis are going to end up defending them titles on that Slammiversary card. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of shit happening. Okay.
Hello, Kayla. Hello.
Y'all seen Ironheart yet? No, not yet. I'm gonna watch it though because they already review bombing it for some reason. I'm not quite sure as to why, but we're gonna talk about the other stuff in a minute. Right now, Slammiversary is Sunday, July 20th. If you live out in the Long Island area or in New York area and you can go, you should definitely go. Marjorie says the tickets are pretty inexpensive. Front row, $700 for their biggest event of the year is pretty reasonable, seeing as how WWE's tickets are 3 times that much, sometimes 4 times that much, or 5 times that much for front row, especially for a Mania. Okay. You get front row and you'll be able to see the Iconics, aka the Inspiration, possibly regain those tag team titles again. Unfortunately, you'll probably see people like what's her name? Tessa Blanchard's big headed ass. She's over there. They haven't exactly announced the match card for Slammiversary just yet, but again, they do have some matches announced. So I'm going to show you guys the matches that they have announced. Hold on. It looks like they only have one. Outside of Trick going up against Joe Hendry, it looks like they only have one match announced. Interesting.
They only have one match announced? What happened to the rest?
I don't know. I haven't seen any other matches up on the website right now. What they have announced is Moose going up against Leon Slater for the X Division Championship. And quite frankly, he should have dropped it months ago. He shouldn't have never got the damn title. But they gave it to him. So it is what it is.
Moose is having an X Division title?
Yes, he
He's
has
been had that. He's had that since Mike Bailey left.
I don't remember Moose ever being that much of a high flyer.
He's
He isn't.
not.
God damn. They should have never given that title then.
They figured out some kind of way to put the title on him by explaining he doesn't have to do that and he's just that damn good was their explanation. That's pretty much it.
Oh God.
I know for a fact that Joe Hendry is facing off against Trick Williams for that TNA championship. So that is happening, but this match was announced and it's already scheduled to go. And fine, I'm glad. Get the title off of him, give it to Leon. Leon's a pretty decent worker and he's been doing great in TNA. So I'm fine with him getting the championship if that's the end game. I just need them to do whatever it is they're going to do. They haven't quite booked Slammiversary up just yet, but given that they've got at least another month and a half before they have to start booking it, well, they got another month because we're on the 25th, so they got a little less than 5 days out of a month to finish booking Slammiversary, and they at least have started. You see Killer Kelly is coming out. She's possibly going to be challenging Masha Slamovich for hers. The tag team titles are probably going to be contested as well. So yeah, they're going to have a lot going on. Okay. So there's that. Now AEW's All In. Since I talked about All In Texas, Let's look at the card. See if they give us the card. We know that Moxley is going up against Hangman Adam Page, and that Mercedes is going up against Tony Storm. We know about that. But there are other matches on this show's card as well. Hopefully, I can pull them for you. Oh, okay. So Kenny is going up against Okada, and it's going to be winner take all at All in Texas. Oh,
wow.
okay.
Yeah,
Because they got
because they're
that new
combining
belt.
the titles.
Yeah, they're unifying those belts, and they got that new title, which is really nice, by the way. All right. So again, like I said, we got Moxley and Page, Storm and Monet, and we've got Okada and Omega. And this is for the AEW Unified Championship. And this is going to be a winner take all. So whoever wins, they're going to unify the two titles that they have. And this will create the new scene for the new unified title that they're running around with. They also have a men's casino gauntlet match for a guaranteed title shot. That's interesting. And then they have a women's gauntlet match for a guaranteed world title shot. Huh. Now they have the packages up here for you. They've got All In Champion and All In Challenger. If you pay $5.50, you get premium loyal lower level seating, exclusive access to the Lexus Club, pre-show appearances by AEW personalities, photo with championship belts inside Lexus Club, AEW VIP credential, AEW VIP concierge representative, dedicated early entry, and crowd-free shopping. Crowd-free shopping is pretty damn good. That's not a bad package. That's pretty good. Not going to lie. For the champion section of this VIP package, you get floor seatings, rows 6 through 10, commemorative chair, exclusive access to the American Club, pre-show appearances by AEW stars, photos with AEW championship belts inside the American Club, AEW VIP credential, complimentary seat to Friday's July 11th Ring of Honor show, premium merch pack, AEW VIP concierge representative, dedicated early interest, and crowd-free shopping. Ooh. They got an even bigger package called the All-In package. This one, you get first 5 rows for premium floor seats, commemorative chair, access to the Germania Club, pre-show appearances by AEW stars, pre-show ringside photos with championship belts, ringside photos. Oh. AEW VIP credential, complimentary seat to Friday's July's Ring of Honor show. Premium merch pack, AEW VIP concierge representative, dedicated early entrance, crowd-free shopping, and Superstore fast pass. These packages vary. The biggest package is $13.50. Medium package is $1,050, and your challenger package is $550. So, if you planned on going to All In Texas, and you want to spend some money, you have a good time. Moxley versus Page, part 33,667. That's crazy. I mean, Page did win the right to go up against the man, so it is what it is, unfortunately. If you're not happy with it, then you don't have to watch it, darling. It's totally up to you. For now, we are good. We are done. All right. That is everything. If you guys plan on watching all of wrestling, we're going to be watching a lot of wrestling the next couple of weeks.
There's a lot going on.
It's a lot. It is a lot. But for now, we're going to go into the SBC chat. So I'm going to take a quick break. For those of you who don't want to be a part of SBC chat, totally understand, because it can be batshit bonkers in these streets, okay? But it's a way for us to segue from wrestling and kind of wind down a little bit. And I like it because it gives you a nice little palate cleanser between the wrestling bullshit. So I'm going to take a quick break over here, and then we'll go right into SBC chat. Alrighty. I'll be right back.
Still don't know my words, still stressing perfection. Let you all in my mental, got me looking too desperate. Damn, you ain't designed.
Alrighty then. I'm going to do a shameless plug. Now listen, I have new merch up on the merchandise website. All right.
Okay,
Look at it. Look at it. We got new merch. Okay. I've got my glitter thought tee corrected and finally up. It's ready to go. I changed my all you had to do was leave t-shirt. It's just me yelling all you had to do was leave. But it's a good t-shirt nonetheless. The mugs have also changed to this image and logo. So we got that. Hold on. I got the Counter Bitch t-shirts and stickers up on the website. And we still have the Wrestling is Fake and Real shirt, mug and shirt. And I have my tourist tees and hoodies. And I've got the citizen tees as well. All that stuff is still up on the website. Y'all can go and get it. Okay. I'm going to also put the Counter Bitch on the mugs. And we're going to make sure I have all that stuff available. So if you want to shop the merchandise and support my channel, please do. Okay. Please do. The link to the merch is in the comment section. Okay. Please don't forget to shop it. Thank you. We're moving on. 6 Brown Chicks. They have a new set of questions today. Brace yourselves because there's usually some tomfoolery going on in these questions. So some of these have to be censored because I have a 15-year-old in this home. So y'all just don't have to deal with that. Okay? All right. Question number 1. I'll do anything in bed but food play. Food belongs in the kitchen. But my work wife brought whipped cream and ice cubes and she played with... Jesus. She played with my backside and rode me like a cowgirl before my presentation. Work wife understood that my real wife didn't. The extracurricular activities clarity helps me with my presentations. Background. Our top client met with our agency to repair the damage done to our brand. They've lost the Black community and they paid my bosses tons of money to lure back their Black customer base. Is we talking about Target? Because they the only ones I know that lost the Black community. Child. Anyway. I wore a tan suit and a red tie to accentuate my presentation. I was the only Black face in the room and all eyes were on me. Suddenly the client screams, "There's an army of ants marching from the corner of the room and up your pants leg." The ants were making their way to the whipped cream residue left behind on my private parts. I was sent home to delouse and lost that account. My work wife heard what happened and apologized via text. My wife found the text and moved out. My job won't be around much longer, and my work wife has moved on. How do I get my wife back? I effed up, and I miss her. It didn't dawn on you to wash your ass?
I need somebody to go to jail over this.
Just all you had to do was wash your ass, bro.
I need him to go to jail.
What? You
Oh my
telling
god.
me you went and had fun like that and you
That's the
didn't go
worst
in the
thing I've ever
bathroom?
heard.
Just you could have just threw some water on it in the sink. It did not dawn on you to wash your ass.
This is horrific.
I cannot believe you. You literally stood there with whipped cream residue on your body and got ants all over you. You
I
ended
don't
up
like
losing your
this.
job because of that ink, because you didn't wash your ass. The cheating is irrelevant. Like, you are gross for a whole other reason. Like, I'm not helping you. Just nice. Because why? Why couldn't you just wash your ass? I'm so confused. I know y'all do not be going out here having relations with people and be walking around with bodily fluids on you and in you. I know y'all don't be doing that. I just know y'all don't be doing that. Y'all can't be serious. If you didn't take a shower, you're never gonna get her. Well, girl, a nasty ass nigga is old and lost a job because he had ants crawling up his leg from him having sex with some other person at his job. And he's talking about he don't like food play, but had no problem with it with this other woman. And it got him in trouble. And not only did he lose his job, he lost his wife. But you did all of this when you could have just simply washed your ass.
I gotta go. I can't with this.
Nicole is out.
I can't.
First one is she's gone.
Some
This
people
is
walk around like that.
fucking crazy.
You could have just washed your ass though.
I've seen it. Some people walk around like that, be having that stuff on.
That's nasty. You're nasty. Like, go wash. Go take a shower. That's sick. Nicole is done. She said, I'm out of here. I cannot deal with this. Question number 2. I began my weight loss journey last year. I work out at the gym 3 times weekly. I am a tall woman, 5'10", so naturally I chase and seek out the giraffes, 6-footers in the gym. I had no luck. Aaron, 5'4", was always around in my face, helping me with my weights, bringing bottled water, etc. When the giraffe I really wanted curved me, I agreed to hang out with Aaron to soothe my broken ego. He wanted to take me to dinner, but I didn't want to be seen with him, so I took him to my place and gave him mercy, because he worked so hard for my attention. I told him we would be a one night only, and I expected him to be mature about it. Well, Aaron put my mattress through the floor. Short King was the best I ever had, ever. He was attentive. His body was chiseled. I felt so lucky. Aaron was kind, but he refused to spend the night. Back at the gym, he's cordial, but gives and receives attention from other women. I finally saw him, how kind, attractive, and pure-hearted he was, and I want to be with him. How do I tell him I want to be a one night? I don't want to be a one night stand anymore, and that I want to be his woman. You can't. You can't, love. It is what it is.
Damn, Nicole just
Really, you You really should stop being so superficial when you're dating. I'm not saying you can't have a preference. You definitely can. But a preference and a box are two different things. When you box yourself into superficial ideals of what you feel like you should be with due to your height, societal standards, or whatever, you will close yourself off from a man who actually is deserving and will be the one who treats you the way you deserve to be treated. What you have now learned is a valuable lesson. Do not judge a book by its cover. Just because he was short doesn't mean that he doesn't deserve your attention or your admiration. Stop being so close minded and start looking at people for who they are, not for who you want them to be. But you can't get them back. And I wouldn't want to be with your ass either because you pitied him when you was with him, and now all of a sudden you see him because you know what he's capable of, but you only like him because he was good to you in the bed. You don't even like him for being a decent man. Now, quite frankly, he could have been a straight up dog and been leading your ass on because the way you was treating him, you was disrespectful. You didn't even want to go out to dinner with the man because you were embarrassed to be with him. Now, all of a sudden, you want to be with him? Girl, mind your fucking business. And if it's that hard for you, you need to go to a different gym and leave him the hell alone. Sit up here talking about something. I want to be with him now. No, it don't work that way. Mind your business. You got some. Good for you. Congratulations. Now find something else to do. Or someone else to do. Okay? China Nicole ain't coming back. Nicole is not coming back. Once Nicole leaves, she is out. She don't be. Yeah.
She just left real quick. I stepped away and she going.
These SBC chats be taking her out. She don't be liking them, so she be leaving. Come on. Question number 3. My girlfriend of 1.5 years is a combative drunk, but she comes from an upper middle class family that supports her. She's been to rehab 3 times and she relapsed each time. I begged her to find a job, but she's just depressed about the relapses and can't work. Bullshit. I don't love her like I used to. She refuses to have relations with me because she's so depressed. But I caught her with herself.
What? Oh, okay.
I caught her with herself watching Jake Steed. All right. She says she's studying the positions so she can do that with me. But the relations when she's sober enough to try to give it to me is far worse than it's ever been. And I am not happy when thinking about it. He said it's a chore to excite her. I stick around because her family pays the bills and they prefer me to deal with her. Also, she's a sexy woman when she cleans herself up, and I don't want to lose her to another man. But damn, how many relapses before I let go? I'm tired. First of all, you're a lazy ass motherfucker. That's the first thing. For you to stick around with a person who you know has issues with their mental health, not only that, but also with an actual addiction, and you're only there because they're paying the bills, is fucking wild to me. Now, you claim you love her, but you're not physically attracted to her anymore. You are not able to have any type of intimacy with her, whether it be physical or mental. And she is also not up to par with sleeping with you in any way, shape, or form, because when you finally do sleep with each other, neither one of y'all are satisfied with what you're getting. So why don't you just be a man and sit down with her and ask her if this relationship is conducive to her? Do you want to still be with me? I don't think you are having a good time with me with an intimacy side or just with me in general. And I feel like I'm just here to babysit you because your family doesn't want to deal with you. So how about we come up with a game plan? How about we keep up the appearances for everybody else and make them think that we're together, and you go out and do what you want to do and I go out and do what I want to do until we decide to get rid of this arrangement. I guarantee you she would probably agree to that rather than y'all sitting up in the house trying to figure out if you still love each other or not. Because it's clear that you don't. It's clear that you don't. Like, nigga, you literally said that you are limp when you're thinking about trying to excite her. That's unfortunate. That's crazy. So either get a job, let's get a job and find our own place, take care of ourselves, and not live off of your girlfriend's people who's paying for your apartment, your lights, your gas, and your food. And let's take care of ourselves, like a grown man instead of being a pseudo homosexual, hobosexual, hobosexual. My bad. Question number 4. I took money from our wedding savings to buy an outfit to go to the Usher concert.
What?
I need some water.
Did she just say she took money from her wedding savings to buy tickets for an Usher concert?
I'm going to read it again, but I need some water. I took money from our wedding savings to buy an outfit to go to the Usher concert. This don't make no damn sense. I told Mark that I'd be going with my friend. Let's pretend her name is Snake Keisha. She a snake, but you stole money from your wedding to go to the Usher concert. I told Snake Keisha the truth that my boss was taking me and his assistant to the concert. Mark hates my boss, but I knew he was sleeping with his assistant, and I figured I was there to cover the fact that they were on a date. After the concert, the boss took us to his hotel suite. He said for room service. I tried to refuse, but his assistant told me to roll with it if I wanted a bankroll later. Boss went in his room and came out nude. Picture a little black whiskey barrel wearing a hat and diabetic compression socks. Bullshit. I left. When I entered my house, my fiance was sitting by the door. He smiled and asked me about the concert. I told him that me and Snake Keisha had a great time. Him, are you sure you and Snake Keisha saw Usher? Me, yes. Well, Snake Keisha was on Facebook Live beefing with her hairstylist all night. Fiance also had my location, and he knew I was at the hotel. Wedding is off. I won't marry a woman who lies to my face. I didn't do anything to deserve this. Please help. Bitch, is you crazy? Girl, you lied to the man 3 times over. Now, granted, you didn't sleep with that little wheelbarrow looking bitch you call a boss. But you lied about where you was. You lied to his face twice. And you gonna call your friend Snake Keisha when she didn't have nothing to do with what was going on with y'all. I thought the girl told him. She was just on Facebook Live arguing with a hairstylist. You sitting up here talking about she a snake and you stole money from y'all wedding fund so you could go to an Usher concert with your boss and his assistant. And then the boss wanted you to sleep with him, but you left. Your ass shouldn't have went to the hotel in the first fucking place. The only thing you would be in trouble about is lying about going to the concert with your boss and lying about stealing the money, which the nigga still don't know you did. He still don't know you stole the money. So not only are you a liar, you a thief. I wouldn't marry your black ass either. Okay? And you lucky. You are lucky that all he did was drop your ass. Okay? Talking about some please help. Help you do what? Go to jail?
She would have ended up on Snap.
Because I will snitch and say you stole money from him. Especially if it was in his account. Question number 5. My baby mama caught our neighbor giving me fellatio in our house, and she threw me out. I wanted her to suffer without me. I wanted her to miss the comforts I brought into the home. At the same time, I wanted her to see me being patient and generous with my new girlfriend's 2 kids. Kids weren't mine. 9 years passed, and I'm no longer with that girlfriend. I cut her kids off too. And my own kids are 13 and 17. My 17-year-old has a football scholarship and he went on prom. I follow my baby mama's socials, but I never have seen her pop out with a new man. My kids look good. My kids look happy. She looks good and happy. And I'm sure some slimy nigga is in their lives. Looking back on everything, I could have handled that situation better. I wanted to be in my kid's life. I especially don't want my son to enter adulthood without a positive role model in me, his father, in his life. Do I make the connection with my baby mama first, or do I go straight to my son? I'm thinking I should approach my baby mama first. At some point, I'm going to need to stay with her until I get back on my feet. Is we in the Twilight Zone?
No.
Nigga, you serious?
Very.
See, this is what you call, this man is a parasite. He an evil parasite at that. Not only did you remove yourself from the lives of your own children by your own actions, but you also involved 2 other children with another woman who you then cut off as well. So you have caused trauma in 4 children's lives that you did not have to do. Not only that, but you thought that you was going to cause your ex all this drama and all this mess, but she has done nothing but thrive without you. Now you're sitting up here looking on the outside in, and you see how your son is able to succeed without you, and you want to come in and fuck up the game. The only thing I hope happens to you is that a bitch finds you and push you under her thumb the way you tried to destroy these 4 children and those 2 women's lives. You don't deserve nothing but the hell that's coming to you. I hope she curb your ass smooth when you call her. And I hope the son does the same. They've been able to get along without you, and they're going to continue to thrive without you. You, sir, are nothing but a leech. And you deserve to be eradicated. Somebody throw some salt on this nigga right now. Kill him. Kill him dead. Because you got to be fucking kidding me. That's just disgusting. Period, Kayla. Question number 6. Unique found out I was married. We've been intimate for over a year. So she put my clothes in a pot, soaked everything in lighter fluid, and lit it on fire. And she did this on TikTok Live. An explosion of flames hit her face, seared her eyelashes, eyebrows, and lace front wig. She ended the live stream and deleted it, but I saw it. I raced to her apartment and drove her to the ER. I waited with her for hours. I ignored my wife's phone calls. I couldn't believe my situations. This formerly sexy woman who loved me for no reason at all disfigured her face. I asked, why would you do this? She gave several rambling reasons and vomited on the floor. How gross. I called my wife in front of her and basically said I was in the ER because this whole I messed with for a few times long ago burned her face off because I wouldn't leave my marriage. My wife gave a long sigh, then asked, do you love her? I said, I love you and only you. Unique was hurt when I said this. My wife demanded I come home, and I left that gross monster in the ER. Months later, her face healed, and she told me she was pregnant. I told her I didn't want the kid. I said terrible things to make her hate me. I revealed that my wife was also pregnant, and our child was the only child I wanted. Finally, Unique said, I cheated on you. He had a much bigger, and it hit my deeper. So there's a 70% chance the child is his, and he wants it. Baby was born, kid isn't mine. She's posting pics with the 3 of them, and I want her back. I can't stop thinking about what she said, that he was bigger and it went deeper. Basically, his sperm beat mine. My wife gave me a son, but I also wanted to put a baby in Unique too. But she's not responding. What's wrong with her? How to fix this? Nigga, you can't be serious. This girl burned her motherfucking face off. Burning your shit up on some Bernadette shit. You in the hospital called her a gross monster and in front of her said, I love my wife and only my wife. To his wife. Really, AJ? Jesus. Then your wife is pregnant and the girl calls you and tells you she's pregnant. And the only thing that made you mad is that she slept with somebody else and he might be bigger than you. And this man has gotten her pregnant and the child wasn't yours. And now you're fantasizing about her again and wanting her to have your child simply because you want to be able to prove that you can get this girl pregnant and fuck up her relationship with this other man. I'm just going. We're going to do one more, but this time it's going to be a Reddit post. We ain't going to keep y'all too long. I usually don't do Reddit posts because they're extremely long, but I feel like doing a Reddit post today. So we're going to do a Reddit post. Are we excited? So excited. So excited. So we might read a couple Reddit posts, but I promise I will keep it as brief as possible. But this one is the one that I found that I was going to do for my podcast, but I think I'm going to leave it over here. And it says, would I be the asshole if I told my husband his sleep boundaries went out the window when he had our son? Okay. Let's zoom in so we can read this. Husband will call Brad, and I have been together 2.5 years. Our son in January, and things have been pretty great, but this had me feeling kind of annoyed. So Brad is 28 and his wife is 28. I wanted to make sure we clear that up. Brad is diagnosed with autism and ADHD, which can make communication between us challenging at times, but we do our best. We live in Europe, not in the US. Brad has autism and ADHD. He only works at 50%, and the other half is covered by a health insurance here on a temporary basis. And every few months, he has to keep applying for more. It is stressful as we wait for him to hopefully get on permanent coverage. Since this is so up in the air, instead of me taking a full year of maternity leave, he took a majority of the days in case his temporary health insurance is denied for some reason. Then he can keep his work schedule at 50% and still get paid on the days he has off, which means I went back to work part-time. I work as a private teacher. I choose my hours since my students usually live in different countries. I chose some in the afternoon when Brad is home with our son, and at nights when my students will be awake and Brad is also home. I only have one student in the evening, 2300 to 2330, twice a week. Okay, so she's doing like 30-minute sessions for school. This is to help with some income, and we discussed this before I went back to work. He asked no students past midnight, so if the baby is having issues sleeping, he can take care of him and hopefully get him to sleep. Well, Brad got back on the schedule where he wants to go to bed at 2300 every night. Right? 2300 is military time, so what is that, 11 o'clock? We try to, but with a baby, sometimes it just does not happen. Baby sometimes will stay asleep when I put him in bed. I nurse him to sleep, and sometimes he wakes up screaming. Well, last night I told Brad I had my student at 2300 hours, and I would try to have baby sleeping by then. He asked me, "What is your plan if baby wakes up?" My bedtime is 2300, so hopefully you have thought of something. I said, well, hopefully he stays asleep. If not, you will just have to wait to take care of him or put him on his playmat and entertain him. He resolutely said, bedtime is 23 and I will go to bed. Come 23, baby is in bed. Brad is just getting out of the shower. I guess he woke up moments after I started with my student. As when I came out of the office, he was walking around with baby. I took him, nursed him back to sleep, and went to bed. So also shortly after 23:30. This morning, he was a bit annoyed with me. When I tried to hug him goodbye as he was leaving to work, he did not hug me back. We always do this before he leaves, so I said, "Are you upset with me still?" He replied, "Yes, you crossed my boundary. My bedtime is 2300. We discussed this. I go to bed, and anything past that is your problem to solve if baby wakes up." He left with work, and I was just thinking, what? I feel I need to have some discussion with Brad about this. Would I be the asshole if I tell him he has more boundaries with his sleep and he is being ridiculous? Edit in the comments. Update is in the comments. Okay. Let's see. Some people said, no, your hubby is a THA. Is the asshole if he thinks he can make a whole baby but only parent according to clock shifts. It's a 24-hour day job, dad. It's a 24-hour day job, dad. Time to be the grown-up dad. Autism and ADHD isn't an excuse either. Plenty of ADHD people are parents. Adapting may not be your favorite thing, but it can be done. Maybe he'll need more breaks, support, but to bow out completely at a specific o'clock daily is a form of weaponized incompetence. Also, boundaries are what you do when someone acts against your limitations. Your husband issued a rule that you never agreed to. Get his ass in parenting classes. He has the time. His expectations are not in alignment with reality at all. Also, withholding affection as punishment, not hugging you in the morning to make his point, is a form of emotional abuse. Dude needs to be in counseling too. Edit. Emphasis on withholding affection as punishment because withholding affection due to needing personal space, time to emotionally process, or sensory needs is not the same thing. He could have spoken differently in the morning, but it seems he's pretty obviously holding a grudge. Okay. I'm looking for the update because I didn't see no update in the comments. They call him an asshole enthusiast. That's crazy. I don't see no update in the comments. Huh. Oh, look, LP is there. Somebody said, you're not the asshole. Your husband is being ridiculous. He is a father. He should act like it. Babies wake up in the night. It's not fair to expect you to take care of it all by yourself while he peacefully sleeps every night. He is a parent. He needs to parent his child. The OP responds and says, what my mother said. If it means he has to walk around with baby to calm him, he just has to. My schedule is not a surprise either. It was something we discussed weeks before I even went back. Somebody else responded and said, not to mention the fact that you're having to return to work early after pregnancy because of the financial issues caused by him only working part-time. She responds and says, well, the thing is, in our country in Europe, he is technically employed full-time, but due to his disabilities, he only works 50%, and the other 50% is covered by a health insurance. Yes, his work knows. All of it is legal. I am not from Europe originally, so I might not be explaining this correctly, but if he loses the income from the health insurance, he only gets paid 50% from work. Ah, I see. This is interesting. Okay. So let's just go back up because I don't see an update in the comments other than her, reiterating what was already said. But let me see if I can go to her profile and see if there's an update there. There are a lot of responses. Okay, she said it's on her profile. The update. Ha, here it is. Okay, update. So he came home and we had a long talk about how his words can easily be misunderstood, especially if he does not clarify to me or I ask him to. How a baby equals no boundary with sleep. We do our best, all we can do. We need to spend more time as a family together. I explained how to a neurotypical person. His words and actions hurt, even if that is not his intent. That baby is the priority, even in our mental health. We only have each other. And even though I can sympathize with the mental health, you just have to push past it. I'm doing all I can. And if you need help, ask for it. He is willing to get extra support at the neuropsych where we live beyond what he has. He is medicated and getting all the help he can and will seek ways to cope. I made it clear that in no way was his reaction okay, and it cannot happen again for baby's sake, and he seemed to understand. As some of you suggested, him getting extra support for his autism and ADHD will help. I will ask also for some counseling on how to communicate better myself to him. Around the house, he will spend less time alone, more with us. Free time happens after baby sleeps, but not before. Games can be played in the living room where we are together. Also, my mother offered to be on call if she has time. So if husband is also alone with baby, she can video chat, and which he likes. I talk with her on the video almost every day, and sometimes it can snap baby into a better mood when he sees his Grammy. Also, yes, we live in Sweden, so we get 480 days between us, and we can share trade. So I can get some days back if it comes to it. I can never be forced to give my days. It was a choice due to what was happening at the time. He only works 50% because that is what he feels he can do without burning himself out. He has other health issues, diabetic, EDS, that make him more exhausted. His job pays pretty well, but on just half his wage is enough. If he gets permanent health insurance, it could take a few years, we hope. I am with him because when I met him, he was under less pressure. He was fully capable, had a job, cleaned his apartment, had a social life. I think the stress of having the health insurance and our son, sometimes just being a baby, got to him. Prior to this, he had been a good husband, father, considerate. I am not stupid. I was in an abusive relationship prior. My parents love him, just not his behavior at times like now. He messed up with his words. He has acknowledged that. Some of you thought it might be a deeper issue, but no, I asked, and he just said he was upset because to him, I was working at a time he did not agree to. But I had to remind him wanting to go to bed at 23 was recent, as in back in May when I started to go back to work. He just is stressed from work, baby, and just had day-to-day things. He apologized for how he rejected my hug by standing there. He was annoyed why he did not reciprocate and how he worded things last night in the morning. I promised no students past 23:30. He said, of course, he would never let our son just cry if he was going to bed. I had a student and baby was awake. Will it stick? I don't know. We just take it one day at a time. Next step is couples counseling as opposed to individual and involving my parents, whom he respects. So the question was she the asshole? No, I don't think you're the asshole here. I think that we're dealing with someone who has autism and he's a high functioning autistic person. This can cause some discord and can make things a little bit difficult. But I think more specifically, the way you handled it was pretty brilliant. You gave him time to have his moment, but then you also went ahead and voiced your frustration with him, and you made it very clear that you weren't going to allow him to speak to you that way, but you also understand that he's stressed out and he needs time. You fully understand all of that. And I think that was a really good thing here. I think that you waiting to talk to him when he came home was smart. Even if he was not neurodivergent like this, I would say you should have waited till he came home from work and talked to him, and you guys can talk this out. I think he was just upset, and that was his way of expressing his anger, even if it was mean towards you. I don't think he was intentionally trying to be mean at this. I think he was upset and just didn't want to show affection to you being upset. And that's okay, because even people who are, like I said, they're not neurodivergent will withhold emotional, their emotions, not because they're trying to be mean or to hurt you, but because they're not in the mood to give or receive that type of affection from you at the moment. So you guys were able to work it out. I think Reddit blows everything out of proportion because they expect everything to be a one-off answer. It's black and white, and it really isn't. It's never going to be black and white. It's always just going to be that gray area. But I'm glad you were able to work it out, and he understands. I do think that adding more counseling is the best way for you to go, because it's going to help you understand how to deal with him, and it's going to help him understand how to deal with you. I do think that he's under a lot of stress with the insurance, the baby, and just the change in your lives. And changes for people who are autistic and have ADHD like that can cause a lot of issues with how they act and respond in certain situations. So maybe once the stressor of the insurance kind of stops, he will then revert back to the same guy that you were with. I don't think that it's a problem. I just think that it's a hurdle you're going to have to overcome as a couple. That's all. It works. Yay. Aaliyah said, I don't think she was wrong for wanting him to be a team player in the team he helped build. No, and I don't think that's the issue, but it's just the abrupt change of everything was a lot for him. And I think that the issue here is that he was expecting things to go a particular way. And when the change came in, it just was a shock. And then you have the added stress of every month not knowing if you're going to be able to keep your money situation the way that it is, and it just keeps going and fluctuating every month. That can be very, very difficult to manage. So yeah, it's difficult and stressful. Kayla said, why do some men want to have multiple baby mamas at the same time? Like, that's multiple periods that you have to deal with. Because it's an extension of their manhood. A lot of times when men are begging to have multiple babies, they somehow believe that they are building a kingdom in their name. Nick Cannon is a very big example of that. His fear of death has led him into this tirade of, I want to leave a big legacy behind. But now he's up to like what does he got, like 12 kids? Oh, and he probably does know all their names and is active in all their lives, but he cannot be the kind of father that he could have been to 2 that he has to be to 12. There's a lot of attention that goes with it, because all of those kids were under the age of 10. You know what I'm saying? When he had them. Even the kids he had with Mariah Carey, they were the only ones who would probably be like 9 and 10. And they were twins, right? So like all of these children that you're having, another person that would be a prime example of that is Cam Newton. They somehow believe that having all these children is an extension of their greatness. And to be honest, it just means that you know how to procreate. It's simple. It's the jizz coming out of your shit, made a baby. The basic form of it. I don't understand why they equate that to their manhood, but they do. That part I can't explain. That would take a therapist to explain that. All right, last one for the Reddit stories. And then Saturday, next Saturday, we might do Reddit stories and Reddit posts, because I be needing a break and I just be wanting to just chill and just have a good time. So we might do that next Saturday. But this is the last one, and then we're out of here. My girlfriend objects to me going on a trick with my friends. I guess you meant a trip, but you said trick. So, all right. They said, please keep an open mind while reading this, because I am not fully innocent here. So my girlfriend and I have been together for 3 years. And for some periods in our relationship, I was unfaithful. Dun, dun, dun. Last year, my friend Nadia and I hooked up, and my brother told on me. Unrelated, but he's dead to me now. I skipped his wedding and everything. I wouldn't want your punk ass at my wedding anyway. My girlfriend Amina understandably took this really hard, but we both worked hard to figure out how I can earn her trust back. Well, going on this trip ain't gonna help. We had to both make on some promises as she wanted me to cut off my friend Nadia, which I couldn't do. Hold up, wait a minute. It's a 22. What you mean you couldn't cut her off? What you mean? I don't like that. I don't like that at all. We came to a compromise. I can only hang out with her in a group setting, and I can't be the only male hanging with my female friends. It changed the dynamic of a lot of my friendships, but that was the consequence of my actions. You're a piece of shit. I have done my part and upheld up my end of the bargain, but she's moving the goalposts. One of the males, Brian, in our group is having a trip for his birthday. Nadia is also Brian's friend, and our friend group has male and females. There will be 4 males, and 3 females, so more men than women. My girlfriend is completely objecting and saying I can't go on trips with Nadia even as a group, but she never said that before. I will make sure that I'm not alone with her, and I keep telling Amina that, but she won't listen. Nigga, is you crazy? The last time the girl, I don't understand why I have to explain this. You can't be trusted with the woman you already slept with her. I can understand if the girl was hitting on you and you rebuffed her advances, or the girl tried to kiss you and you rebuffed your advances. Then I could kind of be like, well, maybe going on the trip with her would not be the best idea, seeing as how she keeps trying to get in your pants. But this woman already done had it. It damn near destroyed your relationship, and you tried to hide it. Your brother told on you. And now you sitting up here talking about she's moving the goalpost. No, she ain't. You're not allowed to be alone with this woman. And y'all are trying to keep y'all relationship afloat. You can't be trusted in a setting where you two could very easily slip off into a room, sleep with each other. No one can know about it. And you'll come home and lie straight to her face. If you are bucking this hard to go on this trip, knowing that this girl who you slept with while you were in a relationship is there, the relationship is over. Pack it up and leave her alone. Because what are you talking about? I wouldn't have even stayed with you. I'd have broke up with your ass. That's crazy. I don't think that the goalpost had been moved. I don't think it was either. Unless Nadia is your boss, cutting her off shouldn't be hard, right? Like, why are you still entertaining this? Anyways, some of the comments. Please keep an open mind. Take your own advice, bub. You and your girlfriend shouldn't be together. It's messy now and will get messier. Facts. Big facts. Allergy Mom 74 says, first, why are you punishing your brother for ratting you out for your actions? Your actions could land your girlfriend with an STD and health effects related to that, but your brother did the right thing. Second, a trip is much more intimate than a group setting in a public place. Hotel rooms are involved, and the fact that you refuse to cut off your cheating partner shows how little you actually care for and respect your girlfriend. You don't actually sound like you are doing the best work to regain trust. Asking you to cut off the woman you cheated with is a very typical boundary. And the fact that you put the responsibility on your girlfriend to somehow think about every possible scenario that she has to set a boundary because of your choice to prioritize your cheating partner is on you. This isn't your girlfriend moving the goalposts. This is not her considering every single scenario. Unless you're willing to kick Nadia to the curb, you'll always have trust issues in place. Plus, why did you cheat? Why is Nadia so important? Setting boundaries isn't a way to fix trust. It's a good complement to previous trust, but it doesn't solve why you cheated. Basically, it sounds like you cheated because the opportunity presented itself. And that is a huge sign you aren't taking responsibility and you think you cannot control yourself. Why weren't some of these boundaries in place before? How many times outside did you cheat? Because you mentioned some periods, meaning multiple. I don't think your relationship will last. because you aren't willing to do the real work to change. If you are, you need to pick your girlfriend over Nadia. Sorry if it impacts your friendships, but you caused that. You need to really fix whatever it is that makes you want to cheat. You're ignoring the root causes, and that is on you as well. Edit to add, why isn't Brian's friends with your girlfriend after you two being together for 3 years? Why isn't your girlfriend invited? Also, I just want to add, I noted the multiple in periods he wasn't faithful to. This poor girlfriend making what OP did to her problem, then having the gall to whine about it instead of spending every second of every day trying to change and be better. Child, ooh, it's messy, so messy. Somebody else said, you said for some periods in our relationship, I have been unfaithful. How many times have you cheated on her? I'm sure you're asking out of curiosity, but I want to say this for OP. At all it takes is one time. Cheating is a mistake. It's not a whoopsie. It's a series of deliberately hurtful, selfish, and shitty choices. Cheaters deserve no sympathy. It's a one and done. As they say, you reap what you sow. Somebody said, I 100% agree. I'm just wondering how awful he has been to her. He said he couldn't hang out alone with his female friends anymore, and it changed the dynamic. While in the abstract, that's a pretty innocent statement. I would be weirded out if my husband said I couldn't hang out with my male friends effectively unchaperoned. I'm guessing based on this context that he heavily flirts with women generally. That's speculation, but The last one, my guy, it should be common fucking sense that you don't go on a trip with the girl you cheated on your girlfriend with. She shouldn't have to say that. I'm honestly amazed that your girlfriend didn't dump your ass when you refused to cut Nadia off as a friend and kept hanging out with her. Amina needs more self-respect. She deserves better. My God. So let me get this right. You have cheated on your girlfriend multiple times. You've now ruined the dynamic of your friendship because you cheated on her with a friend within your friend group. You think that the dynamic is ruined by your girlfriend's need to control where you are and what you're doing, but the dynamic has been ruined because you have overstepped the friendship boundary and caused havoc in your friendship group because you're sleeping with someone, okay? You're sleeping with someone within the group and they didn't know about it. And now everybody is involved in your cheating madness. Okay. You couldn't keep your mess out of the friend group. You had to draw it into the friend group. Right? Now your girlfriend is not demanding something unreasonable from you. She's telling you, I'm your girlfriend and you and I are claiming to work things out, but you're fighting to keep this relationship with her. Why? What is the issue? I don't want to be with her. I never did. It was a one-time thing. But like we're going on a trip for my bro's birthday and you're like making it about you. And like, I'm not going to do anything. I don't trust you. That's the point. The girl doesn't trust you. And she shouldn't because you've proven time and time again that you can't be trusted. And I 1000% believe that that girl does not know that you cheated more than this one time. There's no way. There's no way. Because she wouldn't have trusted you with the girls in the friend group in the first place if she knew that you were cheating on her. So you've cheated multiple times, but she doesn't know about those other times. Yeah, I have no sympathy for you, bro. None whatsoever. Find something else to do. Just be single and you can do whatever you want. I don't understand why you guys get into relationships and then you intentionally go out and find other women to sleep with. Why not just be single and date? You can date people and still sleep with and see other people. All of that can be done simultaneously as long as you're honest. Don't tell anybody you're exclusive when you're not exclusive. Hey, look, I like being single. I like dating. I'm not trying to be with nobody and tie myself down right now. I like you, but I'm not trying to be in a relationship. Cool. She'll move on and find somebody who she's trying to be in a relationship with. But if you want to be with her and y'all have decided to be committed, why are you out here sleeping with other people? and then gaslighting her into thinking that she's the problem when you know full well that it's been proven you cannot control yourself in any setting with this woman. Now you plan on putting yourself in a setting where y'all are out of town on a trip in a hotel. That's what you want to do? I mean, and please break up with this fool. Please. Please. Break up with him today because we're tired. We are tired. All right. That is it. That's all, ladies and gentlemen. I gave y'all, 2 Reddit stories today. Next week, we'll see what other Reddit stories we can read. Because sometimes the SBC chat be so outrageous and outlandish. It just make you want to go, bitch, what? So I'll save those for last, and we'll do like 2 Reddit stories before we get into SBC chat. We'll add the Reddit stuff in there so we can kind of have some breakups. And since Rico is still writing his book, I will do some reading and chill where we read Reddit stories, and we will do that next weekend so we can have a little break from wrestling and kind of chill and relax on Saturday. Okay? Y'all be sure to come back over here, okay? Make sure y'all come back over here and chill with me next week. I'll be here Friday. We'll be back over here on Friday after SmackDown, hopefully, if I'm feeling well, because Monday I didn't feel well, so I did not do no live on Monday. But hopefully everything will go well, and we'll be back over here Friday to talk about Friday Night SmackDown, which is supposed to emanate from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Hopefully things go over as planned and there are no issues and everybody goes there safely and gets home safely. With that being said, make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to go over to the merch website, okay, and go check out the new stuff as well as the OG stuff that is up. I've pulled a lot of older merch down off the site because it's been up for months and nobody's been taking advantage. For those of you who are members, you still have access to the percentage discount. It is still up and it still works. For those of you who don't, in order for you to get the membership discount, you gotta join the membership. New content is coming for the members only. But if y'all don't watch my members only content, I'm going to open it up to the rest of the folks on the subscriber page. I just am. Okay? Y'all make sure y'all rate, comment, and subscribe once again. And I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe for more wrestling content. Check out our merch and consider becoming a member for exclusive perks, special emojis, and members-only content.